Our next presenter is another YBI individual, YBI portfolio company, right? Bravura 3D. Bravura 3D. This is Brian Alls, and Brian is an engineer by training, right? And
yes,
but also a creative individual.
Correct,
so
correct.
I love that Brian is with us to talk about well, whatever it is you're going to give us for 20 seconds a slide. So thanks, Brian. It's all you.
Thank you. It's going to be a little tough, so give me a time. So, yes, my name is Brian Alls. Just a quick note, all the photos except the ones on the next slide I took, and I will be talking about them a little bit in depth as we go along. But I wanted to give a quick plug to my family. You'll see in the next slide. I love them to death, and they're really an inspiration for me moving forward, especially my dad in those shots. My dad is the hardest working person that I know, hands down. When I was 6, he broke a few vertebrae in his back, and it meant so much to him too, and for us as a family. He was at work just 3 months later with a brace, 6 months without. It was amazing to me to see. Now, when he was in high school, he was a part of the state championship, 1972 state championship football team. And that was a big point of pride, not just for him and our family, because I come from a family of football playing stars, if you will, but it was a point of pride for our community. If you see here, my dad's actually right here, which is pretty cool. But our high school is very good at football. That's what they do. We are a city of champions. We win fairly often in sports, but football especially. And it was my goal growing up to be in that trophy case, because my dad was in it, right? The only problem was I really sucked at football. I was terrible, and it hurt my heart, because I could see the disappointment on my dad when I dropped every pass. It was terrible. But my goal was to be in the trophy case any way that I could get there. And similarly, when you drive around this area, when you look between Youngstown and Warren in this region, you notice something that is particularly, very particular for this particular region. We have trophies. We have trophies all around us. And if you look very closely, some of them are intact. There we go. These are our trophies. This is what shows our manufacturing might, because like it or not, they're here, they're not going anywhere unless you tear them down, and to be honest, they're very awesome structures. They were built to be awesome structures, and it shows how awesome we were as individuals and collectively throughout our past. A lot of people look upon these structures as points of pain, showing, what we once were, but again, if you look at them we did this. We built, cities and civilizations from the ground up, and a lot of that was done here. In the next slide, you'll see a manufacturing facility not far from my home, Delphi. I actually had my very first internship there, 2 weeks out of high school. And again, as I drive by it still to this day, that's what it looks like. It still gives me pride to know that I got my engineering start in, this facility with this company. But at some point, economies change, things go away. Oh, no, you could have, that was a slide.
That was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. So yeah, at some point, things change, things go away, and you're left with a blank slate, as with many, sports dynasties, with many economies, things change and the game changes, and you have to bring things back to who you are. In this room, there are lots of people who have talent and hobbies and various things that are outside of the manufacturing realm. That leaves a huge opportunity for us to be the very best of what we are. We still manufacture, we still do it well, in my opinion, better than anybody else in the world. But we also have hobbies and ideas and thoughts that could bring new life to those manufacturing skills and that business acumen that we have only in Northeast Ohio. So how do we get to that point where things are growing and flourishing? Well, there's a few ways. And in this next photo, I just want to kind of point out that within a few blocks, east, west, north, south, there are there's boundless levels of infrastructure in place to allow us to grow. I'm actually standing on top of the Youngstown Business Incubator. A few blocks that way, you have Youngstown State University, you have makerspaces, you have over 7 companies that are predicated on additive manufacturing, all within this facility, or all within this range here. We're not even talking about what I call the NASA of 3D printing in America Makes. At Youngstown State, there is an innovation lab that I actually had the luxury of visiting yesterday, which was amazing. Tons of 3D printers, and they work with art students, engineering students, and business students alike to really work together and develop innovative strategies and solutions for their visions, and whether they're technical or artistic. And that's something that I think will prove to be a model for the world moving forward, because I don't really see any other way, or it happening any other way other than how we're doing it at YSU, which is amazing. This is a shot of what I like to call additive alleys, just right behind this building. To the left here is the future home of all of the additive manufacturing companies that the YBI has in-house. And this building is going to be significant moving forward. And if you look at it, I mean, we have all of the ideas, all of the passions that we have with Fresh Made and with clean engineering, and even from a fastener standpoint, the skill that we possess really is unparalleled. And I hope that, you know, through the years we develop and work together to really build something special and something great. Because if you look, our future has the infrastructure that no other area in the world had at that point in time. If you think about the Silicon Valley, how it started, it was a small city with largely farm fields. That was it. That was it. We have one of the world's best business incubators. We have city infrastructure that is unheralded, and a bevy of businesses that are all predicated on doing one thing, and that's building things better than anybody else. We're already there. And it only takes just a little step and another one to get us to the top, and that's kind of where we are right now. So how do we get there? Well, one of the things we have to focus on is our necessity to thrive, not just surviving. We're past that. Thriving is something that is a necessity to have in order to really achieve great things. Just treading water is not necessarily good enough, and if you believe that survival is key, then you've already lost. So this area has to really focus on thriving and growing, not just as businesses and as a community, but individually as well. And next, we have to believe in the change. So you can't just hope, you can't just wish, you can't just kind of think that we're going to get there. You have to wholeheartedly believe in what you're doing, again, from an individual and a community and a business standpoint. And everybody has to be pushing in that same direction. That said, the desire, the necessity to thrive, and the belief to get there are all 3 things that are necessary to build a champion. They are all 3 things necessary to build a championship team and a championship community. And that's what I think we're all here for today, is to look at how we're moving forward and really put our stamp on not just this community, but this country and the world. Next, this is a shot that I took just a couple blocks down. A lot of people are surprised that this is even this area. But like I always tell them, you have to look at things through with different perspectives to gain access into, you know, winning strategies. That's kind of what I had to do thinking back to high school. I sucked at football. How was I going to get in this trophy case, right? Well, the opportunity arose to join the U.S. First Robotics program. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that program, but the inaugural team, I was a junior in high school. My senior year, I was promoted to captain. I got to drive the robot in all of our competitions and help design the robot. And fortunately for me, we won a national championship. So I ended up in the trophy case. I can't even find the photo, but I'm in the trophy case. It was a big deal for me. My parents were there. I accepted this trophy here in front of like 20,000 people. And it was one of the most overwhelming experiences of my life. It still gives me chills thinking about it, but it's just kind of proof that moving forward and having that winning championship attitude is really all that's necessary, just from an individual, community, and worldwide standpoint. So taking that to what I do now, again, I'm a photographer. I love making beautiful visuals. I did this actually for an international, actually North American competition for salons and hairstylists, believe it or not. So this is a texture shot, but it's a very prestigious competition called NAHA, the North American Hair Awards. I took my love of photography and visual arts and worked with my business partner. She's had a background in theater and in stage production. And we took our artful skill and passion and combined it with 3D printing. And now we service filmmakers, stagecraft professionals, prop masters, and other people in film and theater to design and help them fully achieve their creative vision, which is really, it just makes me completely happy to do every single day, and I'm really blessed to be able to do it. So, yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way, and I'm really glad that I'm here doing that. Lastly, if anybody has been around the past few months, you know what this is. This is Cleveland's championship parade, and to be there was an overwhelming experience. And I just kind of put that up there to say that, you know, one, the years that they went in the drought, if you will, was really longer period of time than we've really been struggling, if you will. So us winning isn't really that far off. We have the ability to do it. We have the infrastructure. We have the people. We have the desire and passion. So let's go be champions.